Hello, this is Todd Hutchison and welcome to 2020 to the School of Special Educational Needs Sensory staff. Now last year we started introducing some key concepts around the neuroscience of performance. And this year, new decade, new year, brings new change and opportunity. But remember, it's only when we're working together that can we make that change make a big difference. Now, when you're going to watch these next 3 videos, it's going to be talking about the brain hacks to get control of your mind, to fight off that negative voice you may be having in the back of the head, and to start programming the mind. But at the end of the day, we need to be far more resilient. See, basically there's 2 parts when you look at your brain. We have the frontal cortex, your logical brain, and your emotional brain. And unfortunately, they can't work at the same time. And you'll notice when the emotions start coming on, that's when we say silly things, we do strange things, and we do stuff that's not really good for building long-term sustainable relationships. In fact, what we're wanting to try and do is keep that logical brain on at all times. Now, a couple of tricks just to help you get going before you then look at the brain hacks. Well, the first one is to recognize that if you don't do things straight away, they don't go away, they often get worse. Say for example, if you're walking past another staff member and they're doing something that's not appropriate, and you effectively say to yourself, well, they don't really report to me anyway, and I'm too busy, I'm supposed to be somewhere else, I won't say anything. But what happens, the emotion brain starts kicking in. The next time you see it, you'll see the same thing. If you choose not to do anything about it, it gets bigger, and then the next time, and then there's a point there that you'll lose it. You'll go over and we don't do it like that here. In effect, what you should have done is had a voice early. And a voice means doing it early, that you get in and you actually solve it in the nicest possible way. Because effectively, you saw it wrong the first time and you walked over and said, hey, we don't do that here at the school. Have a look at this. This is another way of doing it. And you'll come across nicer, more friendly, and it actually follows a rule. That rule is whatever you walk past is the standard you accept. Whatever you walk past is the standard you accept. So if you now start seeing things that are not up to standard, this effectively rule enforces you to have that voice early. But remember, if you don't have that voice early, it then is not such a friendly voice. Imagine even when you're having an argument with your partner at home and you're arguing, and then you're trying to win. And then when you step out of yourself, in psychology we call this disassociated, you're actually realizing you're arguing about things that are absolutely trivial usually. For example, does the toilet paper, does it go that way or does it go that way? Now, I don't want to open the debate because that might be important to you. But the point is, sometimes we're dealing with stuff that the emotions are out of control and we need to learn how to be more resilient. Now, to be more resilient, the other word we're using now is emotionally intelligent. If you want to be more like that, the 3 brain hacks you're about to watch is very, very important. In fact, every multi-millionaire and billionaire I've worked with or been associated with, they tend to use at least 2, almost always all 3. So there must be a trick in it, because when you see high-powered leaders, they're often seemingly got it all under control. But no matter how much money a person makes, how successful a person is, we all have issues. We still have 24 hours in the day, we have just different pressures. We have urgent things and we have emergencies. So when you go back and look at it, what are those high performers doing differently? Well, they're in control of this emotion. Now, for example, have you noticed that when that emotion creeps up and you're feeling like you're overwhelmed with work, you don't even know what to do next? Well, because you're overwhelmed, you don't know what to do. It's because that frontal cortex, the logical brain, is turned off and the emotion brain's fully on. And next time you do that, there's a little trick I want to share with you. And when you are feeling overwhelmed, I want you to ask yourself this one question. What's the very next thing? And then just go and do that one thing. And as soon as you finish that, then ask yourself, what's the very next thing? And do that. And I found 3 is the magic number, because you might have to ask yourself again, what's the very next thing? Now, I've studied neuroscience, and I'm trying to work out why is 3 the magic number. And all I can think of is effectively the emotion brain, the frontal cortex is actually off and the emotions fully on. So what we do is when we say, what's the very next thing? What's the very next thing? What's the very next thing? What we're effectively doing is forcing the logic back in. That means that as long as you're having a voice early and you're dealing with getting rid of the emotions by taking logical steps before you get overwhelmed, then all you need is these 3 brain hacks that we're about to follow on the next videos. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I so believe in what you're doing, and I want to see you build that resilience to make 2020 and beyond far success for the School of Special Educational Needs century. Thank you.